And, well, the event is starting. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. We're live! Hello and welcome to the Snappy-Tech podcast, which is slightly later than usual, but you'll be fine. It's a podcast and we talk about tech, and this week we have Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hello.
How you doing? I don't know why that's just become my, start line. I just start with, how you doing?
It's almost as if you got the line from somewhere else. It's
Where's it
rather.
even from? I don't actually know.
Do you seriously not know?
I genuinely don't.
I'm disappointed in you. It's from Friends.
Oh wow, I've
It,
never seen Friends,
jo-
so that's why I
Joey
don't know.
always used to say, "How you doing?"
Oh, I remember seeing a GIF of that one time. Okay, yeah, cool. I've never seen Friends, so
Everyone tunes in for the first 10 seconds, then tunes out again after
they just
finding
they
that
just
out.
they just want to hear the Friends reference. That's all it is. Like, oh
No,
yeah,
I'm
Friends.
thinking
And
more
then
of the
leave.
fact they realised that you didn't realise it was a Friends reference.
Oh, that too,
So
yeah.
you just no,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
too old for this shit.
Oh man, I have had an interesting week, but that's not what we're talking about because we're talking about the world of tech. So, I don't know why I went from really quiet to really loud there. Sorry about that, guys. I want to ask Paul a question because Paul has a Nexus device and he told me this isn't in the show notes because it wasn't expected. However, Paul assures me this is going to be a great topic. So, Paul, tell me about your newly acquired uh, Oreo. That's what I'm looking
Yes,
for.
so it around 7 p.m. on a cold, rainy Friday
Tuesday night.
night.
Tuesday night, by any chance? Was it a game against Stoke?
uh, but no,
Sorry.
on Friday evening, I looked at my phone. Android 8 update ready to download. So I was like, yes, let's download it. Thinking, okay, it should be fine to install it now. I nearly didn't because I was going out that night. Um, and let's just say it was a massive mistake. I spent most of my Friday night, or the time I spent on my phone once the update was done, pressing the force quit button on apps or the just close it now because it's crashed rather than waiting,
Yeah.
ignoring the send error report button. Um,
Like
and
so many,
it
just so many error reports to send. You were like, there's no point.
and the biggest issues I had was on Friday night because I was using my debit card. I actually at one point wanted to check my banking account. I couldn't even open the app without it just instantly crashing.
Oh,
Um, on Snapchat, the only way I could send a message to people was either by replying to one of their story pictures, sending a chat via that,
yeah.
or just sending them a picture chat. If I tried sending them a message chat, it would crash as I hit the send button and the message wouldn't send. And
Okay, but
one
just to interrupt real quick, is that a bad thing or a good thing? If we're all being honest here.
one way of getting you away from Snapchat. Um, and actually, at one point, I sent someone a picture reply, and as well as it, the first time I sent it, it didn't send to them. Instead,
Useful,
it put it on
useful.
my story,
Even more
which
useful.
I didn't even find out about until someone commented on it, and I was like, okay, did I send it to you then? So I thought, okay, so that's why I didn't send to them. But one of my friends looked later on in the night when he put a picture on Snapchat, turned out to go on my story. Uh,
We
it's it wasn't a good night. Plus, my phone usually it crashes or turns off at about 18% battery. This time it was about 25%. Um,
that's it's all about it. Oh, actually, that reminds me. I was on Reddit the other day. Apparently, the battery issue with the Nexus 66P it's very well known. In the US, at least, what they've been doing is they're actually no longer stocking Nexus 6Ps. So if you have it under warranty and you bring it up as an issue with with the Google Store, they actually replace the 6P with a Pixel XL. Um,
mine's warranty, 'cause unless they do a 2-year warranty for some reason.
they probably do. Because for electronics they tend to be 2 year. So you might want to get that checked. Um,
I have like a month and a bit left in that case. Because I got it. I actually got it around UK release date, I think.
yeah.
Because I pre-ordered it. So
I'll see if I can find the Reddit post and send it to you. But I was scrolling
yeah,
through the Android
definitely.
subreddit, and they mentioned that it was sort of a very well-known issue, and
I can't.
that's what they're doing.
If I can actually get it replaced with a Pixel, I can't believe I've been putting up with that shitness for about 4 months now.
They started that this week because they ran out of Nexus stock. Like that was the
I
reason.
would have happily had a new Nexus 6P, to be honest. It was just the fact the phone had been gotten old and a bit slow anyway. But it's more the fact the battery was. So I
Yeah.
would happily have a new Pixel, and that way I don't need to get a new phone for a little while. I'll happily put up with that for 6 months. I mean, put up with, obviously. That's such a hardship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Do you want to pivot? Actually, no. So hang on. Carry on with your story. So that was the first day. Uh,
yeah. It was.
how did it go after that?
So funny thing, when it run out of battery, of course, this phone restarted. I could
Yep.
get back onto my banking app. I
Cool.
could send messages via Snapchat. There has been a couple of crashes since. Not like the first night. The first night I'd be just sending someone a message or choosing my music on Spotify, and I kept having Amazon Shopping crash. Hadn't even used it.
Useful.
It was obviously been running in the background. Um, so yeah, that was fun. Keep having to press that whilst doing stuff. Second day, fine. Once it had restarted, it seemed to be running okay.
Quick question.
And yeah,
Does because I know that my Samsung does it, which is why I'm not sure if it's a stock Android feature or not, because it might be something Samsung put in. But it's got for mine when an app crashes more than once, you can like in a short period of time, it has a button that lets you set it to like ignore the app crash until I restart my
yeah,
phone. Like don't tell me about it until I've restarted my phone. Is it
Samsung thing, I'm
is
guessing.
that a Samsung thing? Okay,
Yeah,
because I feel like that would have been really useful for you.
that. I mean, I must have clicked the button on for Amazon Shopping about 10, 15 times that night.
Ooh, that is not
Sometimes
fun.
about 2 or 3 times in within the period of like 10 seconds.
Bloody
But
hell.
so the only issue I'm now having is not an issue of stability, but
Right.
more of an issue of there's a few people on Twitter that I have favorited.
Am I one of them?
Yeah, totally. I totally think that. But there's a few people I have on Twitter favorited. I don't understand why I keep them favorited, to be honest, some of them.
Wow,
But I
rude.
do. And for some reason, I mean, before it was quite easy to either just completely block a notification from an app or mean that you get the notification but it's silent or
Yeah.
it'll just vibrate or whatever. That was very easy to do. Now, whenever I get a tweet from someone on Twitter, I get my text notification sound
Okay.
as well as it vibrating, I think, once.
Okay.
But that text notification sound I get either 2 or 3 times in semi-quick succession. I can't turn it off without just completely blocking the notifications from the app.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah, I can turn off a bunch of notification types from the app. Like you can actually, usually, I might actually be able to show you it. I do actually have a tweet there. Oh, okay, so at the moment I have a tweet from Syndicate. If this wants to, it's probably not going to focus. Okay,
Money,
there we go.
embezzling, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I
So
actually
if
tweeted
I
at him
hold
the other day.
down, now it brings me up, and you probably can't really read it, but it says like tweets from people you follow. You can turn that off,
Yeah.
and that's 1 out of 8 notification categories. I can click on either done or all categories, and then it gives me all of the different ones like direct messages, emergency alerts, contacts, security, etc.
Yeah.
Great that you can individually turn them all off, but I can actually turn off the allow notification dot thing, but I can't turn off the sound. So if anyone knows a way around this, please
What
tell me. I don't
what
want
happens
to.
if you put the phone into vibrate? Does it still make the sound? Like if you make it a system-wide vibrate.
I'm actually gonna quickly put that down to that and see whether I do. I probably wouldn't notice it to be honest, anyway. But it's just annoying because I want my volume on for my other apps. Like if I get a normal text, and I tend to switch the make sure the only app that's giving me a text message sound is my actual text messages.
Yeah.
So I don't get confused. So every time my phone makes that sound, I don't get really excited to realize, no, I'm still just as lonely as ever.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like, nope, still lonely.
yeah,
Still lonely.
but no, it's just
Still lonely.
really annoying inconvenience. Like, why have you made it harder for me to do this? They've added one new and good feature, to fuck off. To say fuck off to another one, really. I actually liked being able to quickly go in and change that setting without even going off that page. It's very useful,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Just so you know, I dropped you
Yeah,
I dropped you the Reddit post.
The
that
cool
mentioned it.
thing, one of the things I actually like about this update, when I get a notification, all the notifications are coloured, which is kind of cool, and my
Ooh.
Spotify notification is actually coloured to the
Album
album
art.
cover.
Yeah, that was the big. I think
Yeah.
Marquez showed that off. That was
I
really
think yeah,
cool.
I think that's been showed off before, but of course, it's my first time seeing it, and it does look really cool in person.
Awesome.
But now when I get a notification, my screen turns on, and of course, I think this is an AMOLED, so of course you're not wasting battery by having that, which is
Yeah.
quite cool. Yeah, and so I just see that one notification, and I can quickly from there, without even the screen fully turning itself on, like for tweets, I can like it and swipe it off straight away. Earlier on, I got a text, and you get like Marcus read or reply, and I could just quickly Marcus read. Yeah, it's quite cool. Simple features, but yeah, it's all better than a Friday night, I suppose.
So I have a question for you, real quick. Just going to deviate because some interesting news has popped up on Twitter that I want to mention passingly. We're not going to dive into this conversation. What would you say are the best over-ear wireless headphones? No, not that you own. Like overall, like just in general.
In general,
Okay,
I
let me rephrase that question. What do you think the industry thinks is the best over-ear wireless headphones?
anyone that Apple decided to make.
Okay, outside of the Apple fanboys, do you know what?
Um,
Because it's okay. Let me put it this way: if you look at any tech YouTuber and ask them what their favorite wireless overhead earphones are, what do they all say? The ones with
Sennheiser probably. I'm
that
guessing.
Bose. I'll point you in the
Bose.
right direction.
I was gonna say Bose, then I was like, a few of the ones I watch prefer Sennheiser, so damn it.
So the
But
majority.
it's always one of them two companies.
Yeah, of course. It's just it's so obvious that those two make the best headphones. So it's the Bose Quiet Comfort 35s, right? Those are generally considered to be the best over-ear headphones that are wireless and have noise cancelling, are really great. There's there is a version 2 dropping soon, or expected to drop soon, which matters because the QC35 Mark II has, and I'm now going to seamlessly transition. Oh, I just realised I never updated the images. It says a Snappy-Tech live stream along the top. Oh well, you'll live with it. So we're now going to transition flawlessly into my screen because the QC35 Mark II come with Google Assistant built in. Yeah. What's your opinion on that?
Probably slightly gimmicky, I'd say. Especially considering quite a lot of the people that would own these headphones can just use Google Assistant on their phone, which it will be connected to as well.
Yeah, which is it's a really odd addition, right?
It as I say, it's quite gimmicky because I think in its essence, it's kind of a cool idea. But the same thing, a wireless pair of headphones, or actually headphones in general, are a device that you will probably not use without it being connected to a phone, which in this day and age is already got its assistant, whether it's Google Assistant or Siri. or even
Hopefully it's
any
Google
other.
Assistant, just generally.
Hopefully,
Just want to
yeah.
point that out.
What about Bixby?
Oh. So actually, I also want to quickly mention Marquez had his 5 million subscriber live stream
Yes, I
yesterday.
was.
Just want a huge congrats to Marquez.
'Cause you're
Like
obviously
he's ever
watching
gonna
this.
listen to this and know that we congratulated him, right? But huge high five to Marquez for hitting 5 mil subs. We talk because we talk about YouTube, tech YouTubers on here all the time, and inevitably he's one of them, right? He's brought up.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he deserves his subscriber
oh yeah,
amount,
absolutely.
so.
He's really pushing the envelope, and he's making a name for himself. He has made a name for himself. Let's be honest here. But,
Yeah, that was that ship's sailed for
he's
about
pushing
5
it
years.
further, and that's always great.
Yeah, it's great to see some of the tech YouTubers doing so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just noticed on the live stream that you conveniently changed the.
Yep, just hopped into Photoshop whilst talking about the QC35s. Just hopped in and switched those around real quick.
Yeah, no. So yeah.
Luckily, it's a
Marcus
quick
is really
fix.
good guy. Well, I think Marcus is a really good guy.
He seems
and-
nice. He seems like a chill guy. I feel like I should send him an email, invite him on, see what he says. Imagine if he said yes. That'd be an interesting.
We could about like 100 or like 10, 50 times our subscriber count in one night.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, I'd like to say 100. Actually, 100 that would take it up to like 40,000 if I'm doing the math right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you are.
So yeah,
I wouldn't say no. Like, let's get this straight. If Marquez came to us and said, "I want to be on your podcast," at no point do I say no. There's
I would.
There's not a single second where I have to think about that.
To be honest, I'd want you to say yes, even if we lost subscribers.
Yeah, no, I definitely would, because I feel like it'd be a good conversation regardless.
Yeah, no, it's.
Oh man.
I think no, like Marcus Brownlee's one of those guys that I think just be really good to chat to, even if it's not on air, even if you got nothing out of it.
Yeah,
in the way of like subscribers, viewers, whatever. I just think it's he's one of those nice guys. Syndicate's another one that I really like to talk to.
Yeah, just don't gamble with Syndicate.
Huh?
Just don't gamble with Syndicate.
Yeah, not those stakes. Well, he seems to win.
It's really bizarre, isn't it? It's like he owns the place. They got brought down hard on that. That ruling was a couple of weeks ago. I was thinking we might mention it, but we never did that podcast 2 weeks ago, so we never brought it up.
I know he was quite badly implicated in it, but at the same point, I can't remember how much he was actually in it, because I mean, I've been following him for years, and I know he's not.
Well, he hasn't posted. I'm just going to point this out. He hasn't posted a video on his gaming channel in like 3 months. I feel like
he does daily vlogs though.
Yeah, no, I saw that, but like, I feel like in terms of him and gaming, I think that shows where that's gone.
Twitch a lot, and of course he was the first channel to get to 1 million on Twitch and 2 million as well. And I think he's still the top followed channel on Twitch, which is, I mean, he did get caught up quite a bit by Riot Games when he stopped for a little while. I'm actually going to check this out. Let's do on this. But yeah, no, he does actually stream a few times a week. He's one of those.
Oh, so he's just moved off from.
Yeah, of course he does the daily vlogs basically no matter what.
Yeah.
But he and of course he doesn't really tend to post on his channel, or hasn't for 3 months, as you say. But what he does do is stream, because I know what he used to say was that it's just became a bit too forced doing the daily stuff on Twitch. On YouTube. He's just like he's playing games for the videos and he's not enjoying them anymore. Whereas Twitch, he just gets on, plays PUBG or whatever for a few hours at his own convenience in some respects, and then he enjoys it a lot more, becomes a lot more entertaining for people. Of course, the amount of people he's tweeted a few times recently, or put on Snapchat a few times recently and stuff, that he's had people that have been subscribed for like 40 months. It's like ridiculous how sort of long some of the people have been
Yeah.
following him. Top 50 followed Twitch streamers. Yeah, he's still ahead. 2.46, and Riot Games are at 2.42.
It seems that gamers are mostly transitioning away from YouTube. Is that a fair assumption to make?
I'd say so, yeah.
Because YouTube has really started coming down hard on gamers. They've made it almost impossible. The Game Theorists made a really good video about it. It was about Minecraft specifically, and the rise and fall of Minecraft on YouTube, and how it was all YouTube's fault. Because it was. If you watch the video, you kind of come to understand that. But yeah, it was interesting.
I've seen a lot of transition with a bunch of gaming people away, or even if they stay on YouTube, away from the gaming sector. I mean, one of my favorite vloggers, Marsbar. Have you heard of him?
Nope.
Watch him. He's a really big techie as well.
Is he? Awesome. We should get him on.
He's actually he's quite good friends with Sidemen and stuff.
Oh, great! Does that mean we can get tickets to the fight?
That would be quite cool. Not gonna lie. Tickets.
Did you watch the press conference the other day?
Bits I've seen.
Because Tom was watching it. The mutual friend, just in case you're not sure. So Tom was watching it, and he sent. And I was sort of in the room with him, so I was kind of looking over his shoulder, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Yeah, no, it's kind of a bit like
it's
KSI,
a bit much. Much.
Yeah.
Anyway, back onto the tech news. We haven't actually covered anything from this week so far. We're half an hour into the show, and we haven't mentioned
none in the show notes. Anyway, we've technically covered 2 tech stories.
I guess so. Yeah.
But
so on the subject of the show notes, we did a live stream earlier this week that you probably have seen. Let's be honest here. If you're here, then you probably saw the live stream of the week, mostly because that was,
there was no more important live stream on at that point.
No, apparently not. Not only that, but also everyone who, that stream got more viewers than a standard Snappy-Tech podcast episode, so you probably saw it. It was an interesting live stream. It lasted way too long. It was 2.5 hours. Apple dragged on forever. However, we did get, 5 devices out of this whole event? Yeah, 5 new devices.
Yeah.
3 of which are phones. But we got 5 devices out of this event. So I think we're going to go through and discuss each one individually. I reckon that's the way to do it, I think. I want to start small and work up to the iPhone X. Sorry, the iPhone 10.
Yeah.
I'm going to intentionally make that mistake multiple times this episode just to trigger everyone. You're welcome. It's all Apple's fault. Don't look at me.
I'm just thinking skip some of them to a little bit later, just in case I need to go. There's a chance I may need to go early, so.
No, that's fine. Because if you do go, then I'll cover the other 2.
I guess it's easier for you to cover there.
Yeah. Because I feel like this one's the one that needs more discussion. So, I love how... So, if you're on the show notes, you'll see that I actually put a phonetical spelling of how you say iPhone 10. Because I felt like it was needed with the fact that it's got an X on the end as opposed to the numbers or the word 10. So, we'll come back to that one because the first thing Apple announced was the Apple Watch Series 3. Should we discuss... Let's start with this. So, Paul, what's your favourite part of the Apple Watch Series 3? Because my favourite part is the new little red dot it has on the side.
My favourite part is that I'm not getting one.
Oh, man.
Honestly, it's... I mean, I should really edit that last little line in the show note box. Just make it from 11 font size to about 1. The 6 is the easiest you can do without typing it. It's so, you knew they was probably going to do it. They was going to make it 3rd year in a row where they've updated the Apple Watch
Oh
or
yeah,
had an Apple Watch.
it was expected. That's not in question. What's in question is who at Apple thought it was a good idea.
I mean, like the guy I was saying about Mars Bar, he has like Windows PCs. He has his MacBook. He uses both an iPhone and an S8.
Right.
So he's actually used the Apple Watch since Series 1. He didn't get a Series 2 because, let's face it,
Basically
that
the
was an
same.
incremental update as well. Though he has said that he's going to get a Series 3. Because, I mean, for the people that do still use the Series 1, what is wrong with you? Why?
Yeah, first of all, why did
Frankly,
you get a Series 1? Let's start there.
yeah. Um, but for the people that do, for some reason, use that, it could be a good upgrade. If they have the money to buy a Series 1, then I suppose they could afford a Series 3 as well. And it is a big enough update between two series.
Is it though? Is it really? Like,
Huh?
if we're all completely honest here, is it really a big enough upgrade?
Considering what iPhone users are used to, then yes. Uh,
Like, I just want to put this out there, but my watch is like 3 years old, and there hasn't been a single moment where I've gone, oh, I need to upgrade this watch.
oh,
Like, I want a new one because I like new tech, but there isn't a moment of, oh, I need a new one.
Well, he's actually said that he could he basically doesn't use his Apple Watch for the what's on it. I mean, for Apple Watches, it's mostly a computer on your wrist. You don't really use it as a watch most of the time. He said like most of the time he just uses it as a watch because it's so slow now that he can't do anything else on it. It's quicker for him to get his phone out, do it on the phone.
Yeah,
And
I forgot about the planned obsolescence of Apple. Sorry, that's my ignorance setting in. Here.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it to explode on his wrist, to be honest.
It's a
I'm
bit much.
just waiting
bit
for
much.
No, I really don't want it to, because he's a really nice guy, actually. But I'm just waiting for the vlog titled Third Degree Burns. It's just...
Oddly specific, Paul. Oddly specific. Back out now.
Yeah. No, it's Series 3 as well, it would fit. That he wants to get Series 3, so...
that is so bad. So what I want to mention about this watch, real quick, is that it's more or less the same. Right, if we're all being completely honest here.
Yeah.
It's got a slightly faster processor. They're actually selling it next to the Series 1, which is really funny. The Series 1 has been downgraded in price. It's now £250, which only makes it, 50 quid more expensive. It only makes it £50 more expensive than a flagship smartwatch from Huawei, that's like modern day.
And
only slightly.
LG probably as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and LG. Actually, I think the LG watch costs about £250 as well.
My one at the time, I mean, they released ones a few months later, but my Urbane at the time cost about 150, 160.
Yeah, I paid about that for mine as well. My G Watch R. So yeah, it's oh man, I don't even know what to say to this. But what I wanted to point out is that they are essentially the same device, more or less. Like, I'm not sure. Like, they've made it slightly faster. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, they made a slight improvement to get to the 2, and another slight improvement to get to the 3. I think the cellular is literally the only massive improvement. And I don't even... How are they even using the cellular? I didn't actually really care enough to watch.
So they have... So that's actually interesting, because every other smartwatch just puts a SIM card in your watch, right? That's literally it. You get a SIM card, you put it in your watch, and it works. Apple decided to go...
Apparently thought that was too big.
Yeah, they thought it was too big, because it's not like they already have the biggest smartwatch on the market or anything. But they thought that was too big, and instead they decided to go for the eSIM approach. So it has a fake SIM. It has a chip that acts like a SIM card, basically. And the only issue with that being that you need carrier support, and the only issue of that being it only works on EE. So not only do you need an EE Apple Watch, you also need an EE iPhone, because your actual SIM card in your phone has to be EE as well. Because what it does, it basically takes a copy of the SIM card, essentially.
I like the idea of taking a copy of your phone SIM and it working out like that, but I don't like the idea of being forced to be on EE, considering... I'm on EE at the moment. They're not too bad, but at the same point...
It's nice to have the choice.
No.
It's nice to choose to be on EA.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to offer me the best deal like they did with the Nexus 6P via Carphone Warehouse, though, but then fine, I'm going to choose EE. They're not like I just wouldn't choose Vodafone. Just putting that out there. But there's a high chance I'm moving to free. One because I want to get is it Honor and Huawei? They're free
Yep.
exclusive. And two because cheapest good phone I can get,
Yeah.
and that's what I hate about carrier exclusives. They can charge what they bloody want for it, and EE know it.
So I've just been, if you're watching the video, I've just been going through all the different Apple Watch pages because they've got a couple different brand integrations because they've got their Nike version,
Hermes,
and the Hermes edition cost like £1,300. Yeah, that's great. Good job, Apple, for making a. Oh man, can we just point out that they also mentioned that they beat Rolex to be #1 watch producer? That's not that hard. Like, if we're all being completely honest here.
One, they're Apple.
Yeah, like being Apple automatically puts you at, call it 10,000 orders, right?
Yeah.
10, 100,000 maybe.
Like
Who knows? This is Apple we're talking about, right?
Let's face it. Anything that Apple produce, they would have to got like literally say this is made out of the skin of their children.
Yeah.
And that would be the only way they wouldn't make a decent money on it. That's basically the only way. They would really have to make a big mistake to not probably profit as well on them.
Yeah.
Two, Rolex, they make some very expensive watches, but that is what they do. They don't sell bulk order watches. They sell very expensive watches that make up for the fact that they don't sell millions of them a year.
And they sell one and it lasts 15, 20 years, right?
Yeah, plus sometimes.
Apple have literally released 3 series of watches in the last 3 years. Rolex, and have expected people to buy each one. I guarantee you when you buy your $2,000 Rolex, it lasts you 15 years.
Yeah, or even your 5-10 grand Rolex. I mean, if you're buying a Rolex, one, you're expecting it to last a decent amount of time, and they probably have some really good warranties on those things. I'm guessing.
I hope so.
I'm
be slightly disappointed if they didn't. Imagine if that thing came with a 1-year warranty.
During the last 2 years,
so
offers a 5-year warranty for all new watches.
Yep, that's a good starting point.
And confirms 10-year service intervals. Okay, so that's I can't be asked to read into this, but yeah, I've Apple Watch, not an iWatch.
Yeah, that's
it is. To be honest, it is basically iWatch.
I've heard more people call it the iWatch than an Apple Watch. Actually, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, the Pair Watch. But let's face it, that's now obsolete. The first one's obsolete 2 years later.
Yeah, and that's not a thing that happens in the world of watches.
Yeah, I think even Lou from Unbox Therapy, he's used the same watch from, I think he's like G-Shock.
He's got a G-Shock, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's had the same one for like 5 years or something.
Because he mentioned it in his latest video, his G-Shock.
Yeah, I saw that. I still remember that was one of the first videos of his I saw, him doing a unboxing of that, I think it was.
Ah, fair enough.
It's like 5 years ago.
So let's transition from that into something equally mundane.
But 4 times it's powerful.
Yeah, they mentioned this, and I wanted to throw something at the person who's talking. I don't know who it was.
Throw an Apple TV at them, that would probably freaking hurt.
Oh man, it's so they released the Apple TV 4K, which, if you ask me, is like 2 years too late. Because you could get a Chromecast which supported 4K HDR and is literally £30. Just saying. Oh no, sorry, that was
No,
the
it's
premium. It was
the
£40.
Ultra.
Oh, excuse
Yeah.
me. Um,
Fuck my wallet.
so Apple have finally caught up on that front. Congrats to you guys.
Finally, yeah.
But it was great because they were talking about what made it so good, and it was just so they mentioned the existence of 4K HDR, which is all well and good, and a bunch of 4K content, a bunch of HDR content, which is all well and good, and then they mentioned that the 4K version of the Apple TV was 4 times as powerful as the standard Apple TV, and everyone clapped, failing to recognize that it needs to be 4 times as powerful just to run at the same speed, right? The same relative speed, I should mention, right? Because if it's pushing 4 times as many pixels, so it has to be 4 times as fast to have the same relative speed.
Well, I think it's
And that's
probably
that concept seemed lost.
Yeah, I mean it's probably not quite that. You probably do get a tiny bit of extra.
Oh no,
speed out
they
of
did.
it.
They did say over 4 times. To be fair to them.
Yeah, I mean I mean even if it was exactly 4 times, it would probably still actually be a tiny bit faster anyway. But still, the fact everything that Apple said on Tuesday night got clapped, and that is probably one of the more stupid things that they've clapped at. I mean, especially with all of the tech geeks there. I mean, and of course, you had a lot of the
I
tech
want to mention
YouTubers
something to
there
that.
and stuff.
Can I mention something? Because I was doing some research. The Steve Jobs Theatre has 1,000 seats. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Apple, however, mentioned they weren't worried about seating arrangements because they actually have a limit to how many press members can be on premises at any given time. That limit being 350.
Why?
I don't know, it's some arbitrary number, right?
Is that a personal limit or a legal limit?
No, it's a limit that Apple have imposed.
Okay.
What that means is, at that event, there were 1,000 people, 650 of which were Apple employees who were told to clap at the end of every line.
That explains a lot.
Well, yeah, but come on. Over half of the stuff, over more or less double, more or less 2/3 of the people there were Apple employees.
I would have loved if the 350 tech people going through the watch and sort of the Apple TV just got so pissed off with the amount of clapping and the lack of reason to clap that they just decided to all stop booing and drown out the clapping.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Seeing how Apple would have dealt with it as well would have been yeah, we're not releasing the iPhone now. Nope. Oh,
no, they just decide to can it. They're like, and there goes your TV, your iPhone 10. Come back next year. Oh yeah, none of you are invited ever again.
Now you can only have an updated version of the iPhone SE.
The iPhone 8 SE. Ooh, that just hurts thinking about it. Would it still have wireless charging though?
I'm surprised they've actually finally put wireless charging in full stop, to be honest. So
yeah, we're going to circle back to that in a second. So because I just want to mention this, the Apple TV 4K costs £180.
I'm surprised it doesn't cost $289 Apple, to be honest.
And then the 64GB version costs $200. Why? That's all I have to ask.
Compare that to the Nvidia Shield. That's all I really need to say. It's
that's the point. How much is the Nvidia Shield?
Apple.
Oh, that's 280. That's 190 quid. To be fair to them, though, the Apple 4K TV thingamadoodly comes with 180. 32 gigabytes of storage for 180, whereas the Shield is 190 quid for 16 gigabytes of storage. But this is expandable, isn't it? If I recall correctly.
Yeah, the Shield is definitely expandable with micro SD.
Even
And
better.
the thing is, if you want to pay that much for a TV box for your TV, I mean, why don't you just get a really expensive TV with the smart features built in? But the more important reason to buy a box like that is for the gaming.
Yeah.
The Apple TV, they put all of these amazing games that you can play on it, but with the crappy little Apple TV controller, which is just really not good for playing
Actually,
games.
before we carry on with that statement, I just want to point out, if you do go to the Apple TV website, and then the one that's linked, and then scroll down.
They do have that SteelSeries one,
Yeah.
but that's extra money as well.
Yeah, which I will point out that, it comes included with the Nvidia Shield, whereas it doesn't.
Exactly. I'm actually going to quickly. Does the Nvidia Shield have HDR? I've got a feeling it does. It may not.
I am not sure. I'm on the product page right now. Let me check.
I know it does have 4K. And it's something I've actually looked at before. But of course, the big thing with the Nvidia Shield, it does.
Just sets up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 4K HDR. The good thing with that, the Nvidia Shield over the £10 cheaper, bottom, Apple TV. If you've got an Nvidia graphics card, you can stream over the network. You'll get full games using a full controller that you haven't had to pay extra for.
That is cool. That almost tempted me. That in itself almost tempted me into getting an Nvidia GPU for my PC.
Yeah. Well, because I've got a 970 in my computer at the moment. Partially because at the time I bought it, AMD had really not been competing in that price point. Well, not well enough anyway. So I've got the 970 in there, which supports the game streaming feature. So if I have the money, which I highly doubt I will, but if I do have the money, or Nvidia wants to get in contact and send us Nvidia Shield TV, I would actually really like that at my new house, because I'm going to have a separate bedroom and office in my new house, and it's going to be awkward to be able to run a cable to play PC games from my bed. So if I have the Nvidia Shield TV,
that's a real first world problem, Paul.
Yeah.
I
can use Steam in-home streaming.
It's a real first world problem.
This is better.
The Steam Link was like 30 quid at one point as well.
Yeah, I think it's back up to like
that thing was on a massive discount.
That would actually be quite good, 30 quid for that.
It's 28 on eBay actually right now. Just saying. It's 40 quid.
I'll tell you what.
They had that thing like ridiculously cheap during the summer sales.
To be honest, if it goes that price again, like 30 odd quid, I will actually buy it.
It's 28 on eBay new.
So people watching this, if you want to see a review of the Steam Link or the Nvidia Shield, make sure to put the thumbs up.
£24. Just found it even cheaper.
I might actually go on eBay and buy one.
I'm tempted to get one as well now. Damn.
Definitely for my new house though, because that's going to be really useful.
Yeah, £24 so far. Let me see if I can. I love how we've gone from this serious discussion. £20 if you want. If you don't mind it being not from a company.
Well, the only thing with it only works with Steam games, though, doesn't it? So
no, it doesn't actually. There's a workaround for that. There's a workaround for that because all it actually does is project the screen. So what you can do is you can open up your Steam game and then just alt tab out.
That's quite useful. Because of course I play you play games or Origin games because I have FIFA on Origin, I have like Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed on Uplay.
Yeah, if you open up a game like Nidhogg or something that's really not draining on the system, and then just alt tab out, you can actually you know how you can add outside games into your Steam library? That might do it as well. That's a good point. That might do it.
I want to get one now just to test that out.
Do it. Do it for fun.
Ain't gonna do it.
All right. So what time is it? Oof, we've been going strong. This is gonna be a good
Yeah.
episode. If you're listening to this and you're still here, you're a great person. Congratulations to you. So Paul, we've talked Apple TV. We've talked Apple Watch. What do you think of the iPhone 7S, the 8, not the 7S, the 8, it's an 8. It's actually
Early
an
on
iPhone 8.
Well, the thing is usually between the 7S or like 5S, whatever.
Yeah,
Um, you it's only the insides that really change.
yeah,
That our design doesn't change. Technically, the outside design has changed with the new glass back,
yeah.
which they totally haven't stolen from anyone. I mean, why would
No, no
anyone?
other company in the world does that.
Yeah, it's
To be fair, they actually technically stole it from themselves because the iPhone 4 was the first phone to do that.
that's true.
So they actually used it, got rid of it, and then brought it back again.
Ah, Apple.
Oh, good job, Apple. Good job.
So random sidetrack. Steam link is £40 on Steam
Yeah,
at
if
the
you buy
moment.
it from Steam, it's really expensive.
Yeah, I
Buy it
know.
off eBay. So the iPhone 7S.
Yeah, you can't really call it anything different.
It's a difficult one for me, at least, in the sense that it makes zero sense as someone who would, if you were someone who'd be buying a new iPhone, because there's like, why do you buy it over a 10 outside of cost,
Yeah,
and
I
even
think.
then, why do you buy it over an iPhone 7?
Yeah, I actually coincidentally, the person I was saying earlier on, Mars Bar, he has actually the other day he spent like 2,200 or something, or I think it may even been slightly more, 2,300 maybe, on a iPhone 8 and two pluses, I think it was. Um, no, I can't, he bought two iPhone 8 pluses, one to give away to the fans,
Right.
and the other, which he's already said, he is literally buying the iPhone 8 Plus for the month or so until the iPhone X comes out, and then he is going to buy the iPhone X.
Why? Is my only question to that. Like,
I
I
well,
assume he currently has an iPhone 7, right?
yeah,
Why not just?
he
It's literally 1 month.
well he said one he wants to feel the phone in his hand and all that without it being strapped to a desk, and
Okay,
all that.
but okay, and I'll grant him that one. However, um,
Yeah,
it's literally 1 month, and it feels
yeah.
nothing like an iPhone 10.
Yeah, but he was like he wants to sort of see how the iPhone 8 8 Plus feels, which is kind of understandable. But he has said that once he gets the iPhone X, then he's most likely just going to give his iPhone 8 Plus away as well. So it's like, why don't you just buy one iPhone 8 Plus,
And give that
use
away.
that for a month, possibly do a review on it
I'd
if you
find it
really
really
want
funny if he
to.
dropped it. If he just shattered that, I would laugh so hard. I'm sorry, I just would.
Yeah, but all he's got to do is, or even just unbox the phone he's going to give away, um, test it for a couple of hours, whatever. Maybe even use it for that 1 month. You could even then sign it if you're giving it away to a fan, and then you wouldn't have had to buy two. I mean, he is relatively well off. He at the moment, I think he pays his dad for rent, but he has a really nice house because his dad, his well, parents were really well off. I think they're split up now.
Right.
But though I know he gets lots of stick over something that isn't true. Like everyone's always like, "Oh, like your parents buy you everything, or do your parents buy you everything?" And it's like, no, I buy everything for myself
That
because
just
he
reminds me
has.
of our Huawei video. Of the
Yeah,
Honor video, where they were like, yeah, but you can't even afford a Samsung. I'm like, but that's the phone I use. That is literally my primary device. You absolute mug. And that's
yeah.
just...
But he definitely seems at times that are sort of like more money than sense times because he between his YouTube money, He has a business doing media bits for companies, networking stuff. He actually runs internet to a bunch of houses near him,
Right.
because he has internet to his house through, um, those super long range internet dishes.
Yeah.
Has that. So he has the money to do this shit, and I think it's just one of those cases where he's really showing that, and I'm just like, oh, come on, dude, like, please, no, it's bad enough you use an iPhone, but uh, I'm gonna stop there. Just
Just call it a day. Just call it a day.
yeah,
Oh man.
but
So,
it's.
can
I
we...
think the only worthwhile updates on this iPhone though, over the 7, of course, a slight improvement in speed, um, and
slight
I think
improvement in
it's the
battery
wireless.
life.
Yeah, but I think the main thing is just the wireless charging.
Yeah, wireless
And
charging.
and what's it with the cameras? I can't even remember. Is it optical image stabilization they added?
They already have it. They already
Oh, they
had
already
it, I
had.
should say. Yeah.
What? What was the actual thing they added? I can't remember. Apart from wireless charging, there was something else, wasn't there?
For the iPhone 8, I think that's literally it. And AR support, but that doesn't count. That's software.
Very shit, man.
It should, but I
Uh,
feel like that's a bigger discussion point for the iPhone 10 than it is the iPhone 8. So
yeah, the
I was going to come
iPhone
back
8
to that.
does a
Oh, I remember what it is because if you're watching the stream, I'm
someone's
going through the Apple
commented.
website. It's the portraits. It's the portrait mode lighting in the camera. You can change the lighting
Vaguely,
of
yeah.
you can change the lighting of the image after you take it.
What did someone said? What's this? Well, I don't know when that was though. Could be it's been in the past 5 minutes or something.
Hang on, let me scroll it down. Chiller tubes up if you're still here, which you're not. Um, God damn it!
Damn it.
But yeah, it's bizarre if nothing else. It's this.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, and I'm gonna say what I say about all of the Apple devices, especially when it comes to the iPhone 10. I'm gonna say this: it's not a bad device. It's just way too expensive.
Yeah.
I think the entire tech review community agrees on that, right? No one is saying that the iPhone is a bad device.
Mm.
Everyone is questioning how much they charge for it.
Yeah, I think that there's times when people don't like the iPhone for the device, because of a couple of features that are not right or whatever, but it's just like any other phone in that respect. As you say, the things that are really problematic with it is when it comes to your wallet. It's always costing too much. And of course, sometimes it is out of features like wireless charging and stuff. But as I say, that could be with any device, really. Yeah, they just need to start or stop expecting people to buy shit because it's Apple.
Also,
Yeah.
I just want to show this because it's actually a year old, but I really like it. It's a year off. Sorry. So back in when the iPhone 6 was released, this meme, I'll send you a copy of the image actually, just so you have it as well, real quick. Hang on. This meme was going around called "Dear iPhone 6 users," the iPhone that was released in the year 2014. 14? Yeah, 14. It said, "Dear iPhone 6 users, welcome to 2012." And it was listing off all of the iPhone 6 specs. September 2014 versus all of the Nexus 4 specs, right? And I'll expand this real quick. And it says, the specs are more or less the same. Enjoy all this jazz. And then underneath it says, enjoy your, air quotes, new device. In 2016, you guys will love wireless charging, which actually happened in 2017. I just want to point out. It's actually a year later than this meme was joking about. Water resistance, which did happen.
Did they have that last year?
What, water resistance?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an iPhone 7 thing.
Okay.
Split screen apps, which also actually happened in 2016 with the iPad Pro. So this actually wasn't too far off.
And virtual buttons, which happened in 2017.
Yeah, virtual
Kind
buttons.
of.
Buttons
It's
don't exist
technically a
anymore on
slider.
Android. On iOS. Actually, I'd say that
Yeah.
happened kind of in 2016 in the sense that the home button isn't real on the iPhone 7.
But it's still a physical button.
I guess, yeah.
So it's still there, and they still, of course, have the power button and stuff like that. I
So
suppose.
I've just been looking at the price of this iPhone 8, which is £700 for the base model. So Paul, if you're spending £700 on a phone, I'm going to give you some specs, and I just want you to tell me, if you feel that £700, this is a spec you should expect, or a spec you shouldn't expect. Okay, are you ready?
Diamond encrusted.
No,
Yes.
no. Okay, let's do this. So IP67 rating.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. It has that. Great. A state, in Apple's own words, a state-of-the-art CPU GPU.
Yes. Definitely.
Okay. Okay. Good. A 12 megapixel rear camera with an f1.8 aperture and optical image stabilization.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Okay. This is a good start. Good start. Well, how do you feel about having a 750p screen?
Yeah, that's where you lose a lot of people.
1334 by 750.
I know it's Retina.
It's
But
Retina.
come on,
No, Paul. It's not Retina. It's Retina, HD.
Oh, Okay, I've had this phone for 2 years now. This wasn't the first phone with Quad HD. This has Quad HD though. As I say, I've nearly had this for 2 years now.
So fast charging, yes or no? Oh, that's a point they never brought up, apart from the fact that it was mentioned on a slide. Like it was like one of the, how they have those slides with like a bajillion different features.
Yeah.
One of them was fast charging. It's actually now fast charge capable.
Why didn't they say that? That sounds like one of the best freaking things they could actually say.
Do you want to know why they didn't say it?
Why?
Because it ships with a standard charger that doesn't fast charge. So if you want to fast charge,
Apple, everyone.
if you want to fast charge and don't own a iPad for its charger or a MacBook Pro for its charger, or any MacBook actually, what you have to do is you have to go to your favorite Apple store. You walk in and you pay £50 for their wall socket, and then you pay another £30 for a USB-C to Lightning cable, and then you walk out with your 80 quid spent for fast charging on your already £700 phone.
When let's face it, like OnePlus has its own version of fast charging,
which is rated as the
at
best.
500.
Which is rated at the best version. Fun fact.
Yes.
There's XDA developers actually did a roundup like just yesterday, I think it was, of all the different fast charge technologies and which one is best.
What's it called? Their fast charge.
Dash charge.
That's the one. Yeah, of course, that's the best one, and the cable that comes with it, I think, is the fast charge.
So it's not the cable. The cable itself is fine. It's the plug. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the one that comes with it by default is dash charge capable.
Yes.
Which at a £500 phone, which is a very good £500 phone, which also comes with the dash charge plug.
I know,
Fuck's
right?
sake,
It's
Apple.
great. But yeah, so if you do drop 80 quid on equipment that can make it dash charge, it is up to 50% charge in half an hour, which will last you about 3 hours.
Not bad. But
oh man, no. If you go by Apple's usage stats, it will actually last you about 6, which really doesn't add up to me.
And let's face it, if you're spending £80 on a fast charging setup on top of your very expensive phone, frankly, I'd expect it to be at 100% in half hour.
Not even that. Like all they had to do is bundle a charger. Like it's not that hard. Just bundle in a slightly more powerful power brick.
Yeah, I think you've just blown the minds of Apple people everywhere.
Oh man,
How has this not been thought of before?
I don't even. But yeah, and I think we mentioned this in passing as well. The fact it also supports wireless charging, which to me is a big deal because my phone is currently wirelessly charging on a stand because I was out all day, and
This is actually something we thought we were speaking about before, that we was expected that this would be the year they finally announce it.
I
And
was right.
the big and the most the thing that I was really glad about it, and I'm sure same with you, same with lots of people, was when they said it was using the Qi standard.
And hang on. They said it was supporting the Qi standard, but not before putting their own twist on it.
What was the twist they put on it?
Did you not hear about it?
No.
So it just supports the Qi wireless standard, which is all well and good. Or you can drop. They didn't announce a price, but I'm going to estimate £100 because it's Apple. Let's be honest here. Or you can drop £100 on Apple's own wireless charger that uses air power, which is what I think they called it.
Well, let's face it. We knew they was gonna drop their own one and probably put a stupid name on it. And to be honest, that's probably what I'd guess.
So just to carry on, the air power charging plate, as they called, uses Qi supposedly, but may not be compatible with other devices because it authenticates an Apple device, right? Which is what we mentioned Apple would probably do, right? And the reason is, if you put like 3 different devices on the wireless charger, all of the devices that are charging, like their percentages show up on your phone. Now the question I have here is that an issue you have? Have you ever had to go, I don't want to look at my watch to see how charged my watch is, I'm just going to look on my phone instead?
Yeah, let's face it, that is one of the more gimmicky things that Apple have done, and they do a lot of gimmicky things. That's one of the more so ones.
You can also you want to be charging stuff with this, right? So it works with the iPhones, it works with the Apple Watch, and if you drop another £50 on your already not overpriced AirPods, we promise you can get a wireless charging case for your AirPods. So you put them in the new case, and then it'll work on wireless charger as well.
Don't get me started on AirPods because they're sold out in a lot of places, from what I know.
Yep,
and it's
they're really hard to get. They're still
them.
really hard to find, from what I'm aware. And we're in another situation where and the bezels are massive. Can we point that out as well? I feel like we're in a world where bezels are disappearing.
Actually, bring it up
again, and the front end is literally. I guarantee you, the front of these phones are identical to the iPhone 6.
Probably, yeah.
They're probably literally the same.
Yeah, it's only literally the back that's changed to the glass, which doesn't really look that much difference.
To be fair, it's probably a fingerprint magnet. The camera cutout on the 8 as well, on the smaller version, looks a bit odd to me. It looks a bit different, a bit weird.
I still don't like how they only have the single camera. I know they did last year as well.
Yeah, I think I'll give them a pass on that one, because if you do a single camera well, which Apple do, to be fair, if you do that single camera well, then it's fine.
Yeah, I suppose it is the smaller phone, but at the same point, it's just kind of like you've done it on the big phone, kind of. That's what you do it on the smaller phone.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they are charging £100. They're charging £100. You know, this is the only company that charges £100 for a 1080p screen and a second camera.
Yep. Anyway.
And on that note, we're going to transition over to the iPhone 10.
Yeah, the only company that charges $1,000 for a phone.
Sorry, that was. I just wanted to contribute that to the conversation. What's your opinion on the iPhone X?
That is just it.
So there was a really interesting. It's linked in my show notes, and I can't remember what. I can't go over to them right now because I'm currently sharing my screen. I think it was Tech Radar maybe, or The Verge, or someone like that did an article about about why the iPhone X is a revolution for Android. For Apple, but no one else.
It's a revolution for Android.
No, it's definitely not. It's a revolution for Apple, and literally no one else.
To be honest, I think that notch, because they in this
That
article,
notch
the Verge
bugs me majorly.
yeah, I looking at the top, the sort of the whole bit of having either side of the notch, the time, the battery on the other side with the Wi-Fi and stuff. That's a good idea. But then as soon as you turn it to the side, that's no longer displayed there. Instead, you have a notch that pushes part of, like, on this there was a picture of a contact list. The names get pushed to the side.
That's not what they
in the
actually.
middle.
I want to mention that's not what they actually do. That was a concept. That was
Yeah,
suggested.
but
What they actually do is that's just all white space.
Yeah, but it's kind of like you've got to push it all over there, or you've got to do parts of it. And I think that personally captures the stupidness
Well,
of it.
I hate to
Something.
rain on your parade, but if you go to Apple's official documentation, they actually state that you're supposed to ignore the notch. They specifically said, do not design around the notch. Pretend it's not there.
But how can you when you're watching stuff, for instance, on YouTube, and the notch is just there in the middle of or on the side of the display?
So I assume most people won't watch video in full screen anymore. Like, that's all I can see happening here, surely. The issue is this reeks of not fully thought out.
Yeah,
Not even stupidity, just not even thought out. In the sense that, if you turn a web page sideways and start scrolling through it, the scroll bar gets caught under the notch and just disappears. And if you're watching a YouTube video with your phone in full screen mode, you've just got this random notch out of one side. I think everyone would have agreed that it would have been way better if they just filled in that bar and made that slightly thinner and then had another thin bar along the bottom, in the same way the S8 does. I think no one would have had an issue with that.
See, even if they decided to go for that weird notch out, do it on both sides.
Well, that, yeah, just make it symmetrical.
You could have even had a home button or a fingerprint sensor, just a more sort of S7-y type one.
Yeah.
But you could have done that, and at least it's symmetrical, which is the most annoying thing out of it. If you're going to have to put up with it on one side, it's at least be able to put up with it on the other side too.
Yeah, because I feel like the moment you put it on both sides, it also means that designing around it is a good idea, because then it's on, like, you're guaranteed to have that notch there. Oh, it's crazy. It does have one revolution though that kind of doesn't work.
Wireless charging.
No, wireless charging works. Face scanning.
That's revolutionary for Apple.
Face scanning.
Yes.
What were they thinking?
Yeah, they've sort of said about how their face scanning, it properly looks into depth and all that, and I think even they did say about that it can tell the difference between an actual face and a very, very good model.
Yeah.
Like, no human could tell the difference really, without just the luck of a 50-50 draw. Which very good. If it does work that well, then that's quite commendable. But let's face it, it's...
Let's face it.
Yeah, let's face it, it's not very secure. I don't like the idea of it. If it works very well, then it's not as bad. They're saying it's all revolutionary. Windows have had that for years. I mean, just Apple frustrate me so much with some of their things. I mean, they make good products, but some of the things they do, some of the things they claim, the fact you need to use your Face ID with your Apple Pay, I just scrolled down and saw that.
Yeah, because you have to use it with Touch ID as well.
Yeah,
in the same way.
It's easier to press down your fingerprint on something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, on my phone, I just unlock it with my fingerprint. Now, if I tap the black bar on something, I pay for something automatically. I don't have to worry about unlocking it, or like going into the app and using my face to unlock it, or any rubbish like that. I frankly think that's a lot of inconvenience. At least if you're just using your finger, like, you could hold it up to the thing, it'll come up, just press your finger on it. That would be a relatively sensible way to use it. Having to use your face in that circumstance, just no.
It's not even that. It's just that also reeks of not fully thought out. I guarantee you, what they're going to do is the only reason, the only reason they didn't put in Touch ID is because they couldn't implement it under the screen, right? It's the same issue that Samsung had with the Note series.
Yeah.
Samsung just stuck it on the back. Apple decided to go for Face ID instead. I guarantee you they bring it back next year as a feature.
Yeah. Well, I think the ideal way, if they wanted to put in Face ID, and actually I would have been more happy about it if it still had Touch ID. I would have thought the Face ID was a really good idea and a really cool idea if it still had Touch ID, whether that is on the back, on the front, or on the front underneath the screen. I think if they would have had both it under the screen and having the Face ID, I think that would have been a very revolutionary idea and choice. And at that point, I would actually start commending them for their choice of unlocking the phone this year.
For being courageous, would you say? Would you say it took a lot of courage, or it would have taken a lot of courage?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Would it be the same amount of courage that it took them to remove the headphone jack from the iPhone 7?
No, that wasn't courage.
Oh, it was. Don't go there. Freaking, what's his face? I've forgotten his name all of a sudden. Oh damn! I knew it like 30 seconds ago because I was about to say his name. Craig Federighi. Craig Federighi came out last year and said it took a lot of courage to remove that headphone jack. It was all courage, all of it, 100% courage. But yeah, again, I think this is a situation where it's not a bad device. It's just an expensive device. And at £1,000 for the base model, it's a little bit expensive. In fact, if you want to get an iPhone 10, which doesn't come out until the 27th of October anyway, for pre-order, and then a week later for actual purchases, which is the first Friday of November, if you just want the device financed for 2 years, so not even a phone contract, this is just device financing, it's £48 a month for just the device.
For that, I'd expect a top-of-the-range device and a top-of-the-range contract deal, whether that's like 5, 10 plus gig of data and unlimited everything else.
And that's the base model as well. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, man. But I actually read a really interesting article the other day, and actually, because I'm going to go in a minute, I want to quickly discuss this.
I think we should wrap this up quite quickly because we have hit about an hour and 10 minutes. So I think what we'll do is we'll cover your thing really quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly mention the Google event and then just call it a show there.
I'll quickly mention this, then I'll probably nip off and let you do
then.
Google. So I actually read an article that explained or went through the costs of an iPhone 10 in Europe compared to America, and how there is a cheap sort of budget airline in Europe.
Oh yeah, they mentioned it's literally cheaper to fly to.
Yeah, and that includes 2 nights of an Airbnb stay in New York, I think it was, or nearby.
Yep.
So you can literally have a few days holiday in America, and get an iPhone for cheaper than you can buy an iPhone X here. It's more of a case in the rest of Europe. It's slightly more expensive than it is in England. And they even said that if you actually get I think it was a 6-hour bus ride, which costs like $40, you would actually knock off a bit of more of the price, because the American price doesn't include tax.
Yeah.
Because, of course, each state has different tax laws. And in New York, you would pay, I think it's like I think it's about $110 or something of tax.
Right.
Or something like that. And
about
even
10%.
at that point, yeah, I think at that point it would be about equal to what you've paid over here. Or tiny bit more.
Right.
If you got this 6-hour
well,
bus
hang
ride,
on, just to mention this, that's a tiny bit more, including 2 flights and a stay. Like
exactly. But if you got like this like 6-hour bus ride to another state which had 0% sales tax, the money that you actually spent on the bus ride would have still saved you like $50-$60 at
Yeah.
least. Um, so once again, you would be back in the clear. And I just think it is stupid that this is possible.
It's just
And
ridiculous.
yep. And on that note, I think I need to go sigh for an hour straight.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So okay, you're gonna wrap up. So
Yeah, I'm just going
anyway,
to cover the Google topic real quick and then wrap the show.
yeah.
So,
Thank you for having me.
no, it's an absolute pleasure having you on. As always, go to smpy.tech/Paul to find out all of his
Yes.
information. It's got his Twitter, it's got his Twitter, and it's got his Twitter. So it's got everything
I've
you'll
started
need.
posting occasionally on Twitter now.
Oh, did
so
you?
that is actually finally good.
Did you really?
I haven't done it.
I feel so bad. I should turn on.
I haven't posted this week, apart from maybe a reply to some tweets I've seen.
I should turn on
but
post notifications.
I do post every few days, or had done, because I was actually trying to do the odd bit. So yeah.
I love that. I love how you were posting on Twitter. You lost 3 tweets. 2 of them are Snappy-Tech related, and then the third one is a retweet of a Razor tweet. This is really, really quality posting here.
Yeah, I want to get back into Twitter, and I keep trying to go on Twitter, even if it's just to flick through other people's tweets, favorite more than just the people I've got that actually get the push notifications for.
Yeah.
And trying to reply to some of their tweets. Not much, but I'm just trying to get back into it because I used to sort of be on Twitter quite a bit, and I just missed those days, the good old days.
Awesome. So thanks for being on.
Yeah.
Make sure to check him out.
Okay.
And I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you later.
See ya.
Peace.
Awesome. So yeah, let's quickly cover the Google news, and I say quickly because this is going to become the longest episode of the Snappy-Tech podcast ever. So Google's Pixel 2 event has been officially announced as being October 4th. The Pixel 2 will look like the thumbnail image I showed you. I can pull up the image as well right here to show you, or can I? I don't think I saved it. Oops. Let me pull up the thumbnail. This is why you prepare this stuff beforehand, by the way. So yeah, the Pixel 2 will look kind of like the S8 but flat. It's expected to have an 835 processor, Snapdragon. The small one is being worked on by HTC, with the big one being worked on by LG. And basing on the LG V30, which I just want to say is great. I love that news because the LG V30 is the other phone I'm really thinking of buying right now. So that will be great to see. But yeah, other than that, look out for October 4th for the Google event. They called it, I forgot what it was called. They called the event, hang on. So they released a promotional video, which was interesting in the sense that it was a bunch of questions being asked to Google about their phone. It was called the Ask More of Your Phone. That was one. Ask more of your phone. Get it? Ask more because it's got Google Assistant. Haha, they're funny. But yes, that's coming October 4th, which is in like 2 weeks. 2 weeks and 3 days. Next week will be a drinking episode, by the way. Paul and I will probably be drunk because it's my birthday next Sunday, which is when we're live. So it'll be fun. It'll probably be light on tech news and heavy on the alcohol and the humor. Some of it will hopefully hit, but most of it will probably miss. Because neither of us are really that funny. So if you do want to join us for that, it is every Sunday at 8 p.m. British summertime. So come join us for that. It's great. It's fun. It's got all of us talking. We've got people on, and it's great. So just do it. Go to smpy.tech/live to join us for any live event. Which is usually the podcast, but is occasionally something like an Apple live stream, as we did earlier this week. Go to smpy.tech/podcast to subscribe to the audio version of this podcast. Go to smpy.tech/iTunes if you have an iOS or Apple device in general, and it will bring you up in iTunes, and you can subscribe there. And yeah, it's come join us. We are talking every week about the tech news, and it's great. It's fun. We have some great guests on. We will see you next time. Or will you? You will, because you better be over here. Ooh.